Wow. So I was putting together a wonderful list of topics, and
were you now?
yeah, it was great stuff. And then Matt threw a hand grenade into the Patreon, and I was like, okay, we definitely have to talk about that. And then I couldn't sleep last night, and then a trailer popped up that now everyone is talking about. So now we got to talk about that. So there's
Can't you just be like a normal person and just like find it on social media the next day and wonder what the people are talking about?
yeah, I gotta spend more time on Twitter. Let them digest everything for me, and then I can talk about it. Yeah, so there's two big stories, but the first one I guess we'll talk about, and we'll do this off the normal podcast. This is premium content.
Yeah,
we're gonna do a watch through. So Chris hasn't seen the trailer,
I've not.
And we will do a watch through as much as we can stand of this one D&D trailer.
Have we
that
mentioned
dropped last night.
that if we get money, we will gladly sell out for Watson?
Oh yes,
yeah.
We will play test the shit out of
Yes,
this
we will.
motherfucker.
Yeah. All right.
All right. So, I swore in the first 10 minutes, so we're screwed on this stream. All right. So, yes. So here we go. Let's. This is the live. Yeah, we're gonna have to start reacting now to YouTube.
Oh my God.
That's our new genre.
Yep. No.
Dungeons and Dragons is a thrilling adventure.
When we play together as Dungeon Master.
Oh, Jeremy Crawford, what are you doing to us?
Now we're on the start of a new generation of Dungeons and Dragons, and today we're going to introduce some of what's in store for us. Okay.
Yeah, well, this is
As
like
we embark on an initiative that we call 1D and E.
yeah, and the other thing initiative.
All right. Growing up, I loved fantasy, but I never saw myself as my hero because I didn't think it was possible for someone who looked like me.
Yeah, you didn't play Theater of the Mind then? I guess you just only looked in the books.
Okay. Oh, so far, no complaints.
Right,
because,
right.
Yeah. Okay. Representation matters.
Yeah. Yeah, it's coming. It's going to be later where you're going to see the.
Okay, stories for a year to come, around 50 years. Okay, games that persist that long to become generational, share, but really hand down.
Mercer's going to hit you with it right in the face. Here it comes.
Oh, Mercer's back. Yeah.
Or no, it's what's his name? No, I'm naming the wrong guy. The bald guy. That guy.
Oh,
who's that?
Perkins.
Oh, Perkins. That's
Chris
it.
Perkins. Yeah.
Chris Perkins is hitting you right with it.
Yeah.
So here we go.
The best elements of earlier editions. Now that we have that, we are no longer in the position where we think of D&D as an edition. It's just that D.
It's just D&D now. So there's no more editions. It's just going to be called D&D. Oh, you play D&D? Well, what version? Well, I don't know anymore. I have no idea what I'm playing.
Okay.
I'm playing 0.579 beta. So they're not going to change anything. They're just going to add to it. So more subclasses, more races, more spells, more feats. That's more dice. Really bad. More dice. It's a really bad idea.
More magic, more spells. You can cast basically, the game that delayed it.
Oh, are we?
I don't know.
It's perfect. I love how that comes across as it's perfect. It's perfect. Why change perfection?
Make some structural changes to make it more fun.
Yeah, they're just going to move stuff around in the books, revise the books.
Oh man, D&D is as versatile as their players. No, it fucking isn't. It's one thing. It does one. Okay, right. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but like,
it does one thing.
Can we stop with this toolbox fucking approach?
Yeah. So the anniversary is going to be the death of D&D. They're basically going to kill it and turn it into
brand,
a service. Yeah, it's no longer a game. It's a service.
The 3 pillars fucking thing.
There we go.
Break. Update. We're building upon the rules that have been established. The storytelling. And expanding our world and our role system. What?
What now? Stop it with the corporate speak.
No, that's all it pretty much is.
Yeah. Yeah, so they don't want to. This is the first generation that would have to like throw away all their books and be like, why do we have to do that for new editions? So they're not going to do that. They're going to not put people through the shock because they've had more players than ever. And can you imagine how many defectors to Pathfinder there would be if you have to sort of throw everything away?
I wonder about that. I wonder how many defectors there would be, or how many people would just kind of
keep playing 5,
or just stop playing.
Oh, they're dipping their toe into the digital. You guys have no experience with this, and you're gonna get trounced.
Am I the only one who forgets all those promised tools for when 3 came out and 3.5, and they just disappeared?
They've never had a decent website. I mean, that's why they bought D&D Beyond. They've never had a decent website. And look, an iPad. So you just need
Here's an idea for
thousands of
portable
dollars.
versions.
Yeah,
Digest-sized book, please.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Like, take a tip from Japan and use those little pocket books.
Yeah.
Or indie games.
Here we go.
What's this?
That's the VTT. Oh, that'll run on your machine, right? You have a computer that you just got last week, so it'll run perfectly. Unreal Engine is going to run their VTT, and I don't think anybody in the OSR group has a machine that has a video card in it that's less than 5 years old.
OSR out of it. You're all grognards anyway.
No, but if we even wanted to use this, it's impossible.
What am I?
So you're looking at digital miniatures that you can customize within Unreal, and to make it not.
I'm just gonna I'm skimming here. I hate the term lazy DM.
Yeah. Well,
I
you got it.
fucking hate it.
Well, if the computer will do all the work.
No, a lazy DM is one who shows up and go, yeah, I did no prep, so
eat
let's just play a board game or something like that. That's a lazy DM, right? There are lots of different fucking kinds of prep.
Right. Low.
Right?
Yeah. Right. Low prep. Yeah. So they're doing a thing where they're going to make the camera do that little toy effect where everything looks small on the tabletop, so it doesn't have that video game, overhead video game look. Right. And check this out. Here you go. Ready to have your mind blown? Oh, fuck that. He picked up the dragon. So how much do you think that would cost? About maybe $4,000, $5,000 to have a painted version of that sent to your house?
I don't know, man.
Yeah, so that is what they're pretending D&D Digital is going to look like. And just like when they preview video games, there's no way anybody's going to run anything that looks anything like that. And there's that shot where they're showing it on the screen in the tabletop, and it's like, there's your problem right there. You can't mix, if you're going to go full VTT, you can't mix it. It's going to be a very confusing situation, very expensive, and very,
We brought this up when we were talking about the new Descent.
Mm-hmm.
And how I am interested in how they do it, not interested enough to buy the game, how they've integrated like AR and board game, and can you just play it on the app, in which case why
is there anything physical?
And am I the only one who remembers this kind of weird collectible card game that had like AR stuff where there was an overhead camera, and when you put your card on the playing field, it looked like there was a 3D thing popping up, and I don't know.
So that's it. See what's next.
All
Okay,
right.
so we're
See what's
playtesting
next.
tonight. Are we're gonna download the playtest and dig into that unearthed arcana? So I really hate how I could see the producer of that going, okay, then cut to this, and then cut to her saying that, and cut to him saying that. It's a very, it's very heavily produced, and a really weird message that they're putting out there.
All right, we as players and as people who generally don't care for D&D, right? Like, okay, I get that, but could they have done anything different?
Well,
right?
I think,
I really don't think they could have, because as you said, there's someone corporate behind the scenes going, this is what I want it to look like, and this and this and this, and you kind of have to do that, right, to generate enthusiasm for the game. Ignore the people like us who are going, oh, this is all fucking bullshit, right?
Yeah, right. And it's also, it feels very much like that Microsoft Windows strategy of like the 90s, where someone would make a nice, useful shareware app that would run well on Windows. The next version of Windows, they bought that company, and it's in Windows now.
Right. And you can't get rid of it, and it runs shit.
Yeah, right. And so, they don't support it. But now what they're going to do, they're going to basically either make their own or buy Hero Forge, make their own or buy a VTT, and just start swallowing up everything. They're going to use the funding that they can have from Hasbro to stay ahead of everybody. So no one's going to be able to touch what they're able to do. But what they're talking about right now, no one has done yet. So I don't trust them.
They're going to be the first. They're going to be the first. Have you no faith, Jeremy?
Yeah, because there aren't even people on Kickstarter that are pushing things, as advanced as what they're talking about. So it's a little, Well,
that's on you. That's on you, the consumer, for not having a high-end enough computer to run it
exactly,
so it looks as beautiful as those promo shots do.
So it's gonna be a weird time, and I have a feeling they're going to younger players, they're gonna make it an easy barrier to entry. Very, you can free jump on. Somebody has a subscription, your DM has a subscription, you can jump on and play, and limited everything. And then if you want physical stuff, that's where they're really going to kill you. If you actually want to roll dice on the table, the books, physical books are going to be insane. And the miniatures that are going to coming from however they're going to handle their
Those
assets.
kids or whatever.
Yeah. I wonder if, because it's going to disturb a lot of deals they already have. So Roll20, their days are numbered if this isn't a collaboration with them.
Right.
Hero Forge, their days are numbered if they're going to actually. These are the D&D official miniatures, and they have all the official races and classes and look and yeah.
I don't know. Possibly because I don't really know how Hero Forge works. Hero Forge might just be able to go, okay, it's a dragonkin.
Yeah.
Right. It's a demonkin. Right, instead of the official D&D stuff, and it's like it's
Right.
close enough, right? They might not go under, but I think online I saw someone talk about like a walled garden, and like they're like Daddy D&D and Daddy Hasbro, they're setting up like a walled garden where
very Apple. Yeah.
if you can only use official stuff. I don't know fucking how programming works, right? But like they could set it up where it's like, okay, here's the site where you get the books, right? Only this site can pull in stuff for like the VTT. But only these digital assets are usable in the VTT. Well, then you're fucked, right? Like you have to buy their stuff unless and until third-party people come up with a way to get around those.
Right.
I guess digital rights management stuff, essentially.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's the thing they're going to have to do too. Is it's going to have to be a whole level of security that people are going to figure out ways around. But yeah, they're going to have to, if they want to control it, they're going to have to not be able to let people take assets off of there and print them on their 3D printers at home, and it's going to be a whole thing. And they're not capable of doing it. Like if you look at the apps that Hasbro has made for board games and stuff, it's all very. I mean, they need to be hiring like crazy right now.
Maybe they are.
Yeah.
Maybe they are.
Oh,
We don't know.
But
I don't know.
nobody said anything about the because they'd have to they list jobs.
NDAs. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
Who knows? I don't know.
But it's I don't know. It's a very weird thing. So so this thing just hit the other
One D&D.
Yeah, one D&D. So it doesn't sound like it sounds like they're just like saying, okay, anybody that liked that old style game, just take a backseat. The future is now.
Just crawl off into like a wood paneled basement and die somewhere.
Right? Because I can't imagine anybody over 60 even getting into fully 3D. It's gonna be brutal. Yeah.
I kind of way back, actually not that long ago, but way back when like they stopped doing 4th edition and 5th edition was coming out, or they were playtesting 5th edition. Like on the podcast we were discussing what would happen if D&D died, right? Because I'm like, okay, this they've dropped support for 4E. They're gonna have to like make something great. If it doesn't, Hasbro might just go, you're done.
Right.
I kind of wonder if this is the same point.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying it is. I'm wondering if it is. Like, it looks like they've put a lot of eggs in these in the basket to try and be like
a digital basket.
Yeah, a lot of digital eggs in this digital basket to try and like pull stuff in and really kind of like build this lifestyle brand. They're coming out with a new version of the rules. I wonder if they're going to be crowd testing or like crowdsourcing the rules again. Like they for 5 years.
Yeah, they
My
said.
God, what a clusterfuck that was, and what a.
Yeah, they said they're doing that again because that's the playtest has already started.
Okay, well, I'll
do.
say playtest is different from
the
crowdsourcing, right? Like I feel like when they did 5e, it was kind of like, what do you want to see? 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 Tell us what you want to see. Whereas like, at least with playtesting, we're like, we've made a game.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Tell us what you like. Tell us if it works. Feedback instead of what do you want to see? You want to see okay, let's like mash it all together.
Just everything. Right? We want everything.
Well, you do. I don't know. I wonder how this is. Well, it's still a year 2024. Anyway, I don't know. I'm curious to see what happens. Not invested at all because
I hope this benefits Paizo. I hope that because they can just take a position where you're always going to have books. You're going to have those nice little pocket-sized books of the full rules. We're going to give away more stuff for free. We're going to get you into this game, and if you want to enter, so kind of like how Apple and Android are kind of doing their thing. Apple, once you get into that ecosystem, you're there, and you've got your Mac.com email or whatever. So we'll see. We'll see what's going to happen. There was an interesting. So I did an interview with Andreas from Sweden Rolls. So that's up online. Take a look at that great interview, especially if you're interested in like the history of Swedish roleplay. We went over, starting in the early '80s, like kind of like how all of that happened, and the one thing that he said that was very strange to him is so many Americans he talks to, they say, "Oh, look at my shelf. I have too many books. I spent too much money, and it's all 5e.
Right, yeah.
And you look at any Swedish role players, shelves, and it's multiple bookcases of all this diverse, sci-fi, post-apocalyptic fantasy.
See, why do you need all that when D&D can do fucking everything, Jeremy? Come on.
But it's very interesting that there is such a monoculture in the U.S. of role play is 5e. Oh, you want to play tabletop 5e? It's 5e, and there's so many people that they've never left that rule set. That they tried it and that's it. And yeah, so it said compared to European players and specifically Swedish players, that's very different.
Do you think that's? I guess we're getting kind of into it, and this might have come up during the interview. Do you think that's because of just like D&D wasn't the only one, but it's kind of like the one that's held on the longest? Like, what other game had a cartoon and multiple movies made of it where it's become like the household name? I'm guessing they didn't have something like that in Sweden where it's just like, nope, it's always kind of been open and pretty diffuse.
And maybe, and he also said that the gamers are maybe a little pickier. That's like, I want to play this kind of game. And so I'm going to look for a game that does this. I'm not going to just settle for a game that kind of does this.
Then I'm not working hard enough, because you can make D&D do anything.
That's right, I forgot. You can roll up Wolverine and Terminator.
Yep,
That's right.
Yep.
I forgot.
And soon Pacific Rim. Yep.
So this is all premium discussion. So this isn't in my list of topics. We got another whopper to talk about then. But so sorry to be confusing. I guess I didn't want to pop the window up. I don't know. I'm sure they would copyright strike us for playing their trailer.
So we were watching that trailer.
Yeah, so that's what that weird staring off camera was. Chris did a first response to that wacky trailer, and it's just so corporate, and they're really they're really trying to reinforce their messages, and it's for everyone, but there's only one, and you're going to pay per month to be part of it. Yeah, so subscribe now. So very, and that's a shame. If D&D goes from game to service,
is it though?
I think it is. I think it's going to go. I mean, if you want access to everything, you can buy the books individually and spend hundreds of dollars on just a stack of books, or you can have the full experience of dynamic character sheets and everything, and almost weekly, or just like new things being added, and it doesn't. That whole approach that they were talking about, where 5e is perfect, let's just pile a bunch of crap on top of it, I think that's a terrible approach, because there's already too many races, there's already too many feats, there's too many spells, there's too many everything in the game.
Too many or not enough?
I haven't decided. It just feels like, how many cherries do you want on that sundae?
Just all of them. Just all of them,
the
right?
cherries.
I don't know. I wonder. All right. I can't go past my normal lunchtime because everyone else is there. But, I wonder if this is going to be like akin to streaming services now, right? Because we're kind of at the point with streaming services where people are going, yo, bro, this is fucking, this is stupid. Right? Like, this is ridiculous. I'm not paying whatever for this just so you can take content that I enjoy off. And we're seeing a rise in people going, pirating is becoming a much more ethical choice when to preserve this stuff.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm not saying D&D needs to be preserved. But what I'm saying is this Hasbro and WotC finally kind of biting off more than they can chew, and we're going, okay, we're now a lifestyle brand. You want to do this stuff? Are people going to go, you know what? No, I'm fucking done.
Yeah.
Right? Are enough people going to go, there are other options?
And they haven't realized how fickle the younger generations are. And if you don't do it exactly the way that they want it done, or make it adaptable to them, they're just going to leave. Like, look at Facebook. Is there anybody under 40 on Facebook anymore?
It's Meta now.
I mean, Meta. Yeah, that's right. Meta. Is there anybody? I mean, so they could be in that same situation where you have a bunch of miserable older gamers that can barely use these tools that are like, God, I wish I just had some paper and a pencil. All right, so let's get on with the main thing. I don't want to cut into Chris's life too much here.
I would vastly prefer to bullshit this than have to go back to work. But unfortunately, one pays the bills, and unless we get a ton more patrons, one doesn't.
Yes. Yeah, we got to get to that Chris stuff working tier.
Ooh, I like that one. Yeah.
All right. So let's get started for this week. So thanks for hanging in there, and I guess we'll probably talk about after the cast. I'll go on and I'll go through the chat, and so get your feedback on what the hell that was all about. And of course, we're going to start off with another crazy topic. All right, so let's get started. Welcome to the weekly. I'm Jeremy.
I'm Chris.
And this week on the weekly, Tolkien gets embraced.
Yep.
The 40th anniversary Call of Cthulhu starter set.
Ooh.
DC Comics, no more comics. Yeah, interesting. And Games Workshop versus Cults 3D.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So a little 3D printing combat going on there. All right, so let's start. Oh, I even have a little animation
nice.
for this. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, the Embracer.
I
So
hope
we
you at least got paid for that. Being embraced.
Yeah, right. Yes. So I'm fighting the tentacles of the Embracer have now reached further, I think, than they've done before. So they bought Asmodee. So we talked
Right,
about that. That's huge. I mean, because they owned Fantasy Flight. They own every Catan, every thing,
not a huge loss,
every kind of classic game,
Right.
board game from the kind of beginning of this golden age, they own now. And now they own the Lord of the Rings.
Right.
So,
And from
yes.
what I saw too, not just game rights or board game rights, they own
Yes.
from what I read, they own the whole shebang
Right.
across multiple media platforms.
Yeah, so the weird way that it's been put various ways, it's really hard to decode their reporting on this because people are saying all kinds of nonsense, and most people don't even know what the Embracer Group is, so they're describing it very strangely. Oh, it's this Middle Eastern, it's this Asian. It's no, it's a Swedish asset management company. But it was reported as the purchase of Middle Earth Enterprises. So kind of like the LLC that manages the license. And so there's the Tolkien estate, and that's who Amazon licensed directly from for a television episodic television more than 8 episodes.
Okay.
So that's why they have their license, and that's why they only have the rights to the appendices. Right. There was weird reporting though, and I can still find it online, that Amazon owns the rights to The Hobbit, that they bought the rights to The Hobbit.
Interesting. Okay.
So I don't know who they bought those from. If they may have bought them, either from the estate or the Salzance, but the Middle Earth Enterprise is now Embracer.
Right.
So the one thing they said is all of the current existing contracts, so Free Leagues, One Ring, and everything, video games, there's a Golem game, I think, everything that's going on right now, those contracts are still in place.
Right.
Nothing is going to change. Probably things will eventually change, but there's not going to be a sudden loss. Everyone's not going to have to reset. All of that is still.
They would have lost a lot
In
of goodwill
effect.
if they did something like that.
Oh yeah. And they're still not. They're still not reporting exactly the sale price, because when we talked about all this weird rights stuff, the Salzance company was kind of offering the rights up that they've held since the 70s, and the price tag was $2 billion or something.
Right.
They were kind of waving that around, so we don't know how much they've actually bought it for. The only thing that they're reporting is that they've paid 6 billion Swedish crowns, or that's about $576 million US dollars, for. We don't know how much acquisition, so they got an insane bargain if that's part of
what they paid,
multiple things, or if that's what they paid. And why didn't Amazon, if they could have negotiated, why didn't Amazon? That would have been effortless, and then they could do whatever they want with their.
I don't know. Maybe they got outbid. I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's possible, or just they preferred the whatever they just preferred them as a buyer. So $3 billion. They were kind of waving stuff around, but the rights are so strange. Like the Salzance company, the rights are so the book publishing rights of the actual text is still are still in the same hands, the same publisher, Harcourt. I forget. HarperCollins still has. So we still have the Tolkien estate and HarperCollins doing the books, and then whatever kind of supervisory, and probably they have final say in a lot of stuff, the estate. But it sounds like after the death of Christopher Tolkien that the kids are just pay me, pay me, pay me. So I don't think we're going to get a lot of criticism of what people are doing with things. And there's a couple of so right away people were really bagging on Embracer, whether they knew much about it or not, and especially the CEO Lars Wingefors. And but I also saw a lot of comments in defense. So this is a good guy. This guy started out in business trading comic books. This is a guy that loves these properties, and that's why. And we also saw the kind of the video game and PC game preservation thing efforts that they're doing. So it's someone that loves this media and is trying to in a kind of a strange businessy way. Get their hands on managing as much of these licenses and assets as possible, and also using that to collaborate between comics and board games and everything, getting the license to work in multiple ways. So there's a quote from him. One of the world's most epic fantasy franchises is what he called Lord of the Rings. Other opportunities include exploring options for additional movies based on iconic characters such as Gandalf Aragorn, Gollum, Galadriel, Eowyn, and other characters from the literary works of Tolkien. So it sounds like the Lord of the Rings cinematic universe.
Sorry, I don't care. I don't care.
So that would be a shame if that happened. We don't need that. I mean, it's fine if it's a PC game or a comic book and something you can ignore. But if they're going to do a movie about one character and just make up a bunch of bullshit, it's like, he had an alcoholic brother that, he
Oh, right. Dimly, yeah.
Right.
You know what? I think it's kind of weird that people can buy IP. On the other hand, I understand artists kind of getting something for their creation, right? But I mean, those two things can coexist, strangely. But being able to spend a lot of money and now own these ideas, which you can then churn out for more spin-off movies and stuff, it seems it's weird.
Yeah, it definitely is. And the biggest attack that people make on Embracer Group is the $1 billion of funding they got from Saudi Arabia's public investment fund. And Saudi Arabia is deeply invested in social media. They got a big chunk of Twitter. They're in all over mobile gaming.
Right.
So I mean, it's you can't. It's just you can't go. There is probably no American company that doesn't have some investment,
right.
And especially entertainment. So they've gone in deep with that. So that's hardly a criticism when any company, any company. So we'll see. And there's so many things, and they even made a reference though, because it's not clear what rights HarperCollins has. So it may just be to those original text.
Oh, maybe.
And so if you want to do the Brian Herbert thing where you just iterate a bunch of nonsense on Dune. So Dune is ruined by those books. I'm just going to say it.
You can just pretend they don't exist.
I'm just going to say it. Dune was ruined by those books.
I don't know.
And Lord of the Rings is now going to be ruined by some weird ghostwriter collaboration between whatever.
Okay, maybe.
Yeah.
The original still exists, and I'll argue back on the Dune thing. Frank Herbert himself was getting pretty close to ruining Dune with those hard mantras. When we get to book 6, we're just bro, what the fuck are you doing here?
He was getting sexy about it.
Yeah, okay. If violently sexy, man. You're just never going to get that sex fight.
Yeah, on film.
Okay, moving on.
Yeah, right. So we'll see. So what this does is this gives Embracer Group the rights to film, video game, and everything Middle Earth related. So theme parks, merchandising. It's just so we're gonna see. We're going to see a Hobbiton. We're going to see a Hobbiton with a little roller coaster. And that'd be great. Yeah. So the only thing that they don't have the rights to is, like we're saying, the Amazon television series longer than 8 episodes.
Right. So as soon as you get to 9, then it's theirs, right?
So and we'll see. And so many people are talking about Embracer, and there's tentacles all over the screen right now. And but basically they haven't done anything yet. They've just acquired things, and there's not been any synergy. Nothing's been, and everything that they've bought has continued to produce. So
sorry, I was going to say, you said there's no synergy, it's kind of a negative thing. But I was also going to say, just like you said, there's been no change, positive or negative either way. It's just kind of not we own you now. Business as usual. Continue on, right?
Yeah, so all the current Lord of the Rings board games and living card games and stuff from Fantasy Flight are still going to be produced, and they own them now. So there's not going to be an interruption in the license. There's not going to be a problem, So that doesn't have to be renegotiated because it's one company now, one parent company now. So but people are afraid of things, but they've not done anything yet to make people afraid. I mean, there's weird, there's weird investors in the Embracer Group, and it's very suspicious that they're just swallowing everything up.
Yeah.
But they haven't done anything to show that they, as much as I'm Cthulhuing them up, they haven't shown yet that they have bad intent. And so I really took to heart those comments about the CEO. It's if he's a good guy and he can keep his, even though he's got dreams of big money and big control, if he can keep his hands out of things and let the creators create and just keep that stuff alive and make it, much easier to have it across different media, then maybe great, but who knows?
Maybe he's going to pull an Elon Musk, and eventually it's going to be okay, I created these things, right? I own them. They're mine. They're my creation.
Yes, right. Get rid of that JRR fella. Put my name above everything now. Yeah, so we'll see. It's just a wait and see, because they're just eat up a bunch of stuff, and then we're going to find out what the nightmare that
not that I'm waiting for that, but it's just at this point it's just neutral, right? It's just I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, it's
maybe nothing. Who knows?
Yeah, but the scary thing is too is if then they start chopping stuff up and selling stuff. If they're like, yeah, this didn't work, we're not, this isn't profitable, and they're just going to like piecemeal sell. That could be terrifying.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah.
The other end of the spectrum is just as terrifying, where they just keep gobbling stuff up. And then to put it in like Netrunner perspective, like we have an NBN company that now like maybe they're trying to rival Walt Disney,
right,
in terms of the stuff that they just own.
Yeah, but I would definitely rather have a European-based rival to Disney than another American entertainment corporation. Another like Warner Brothers Discovery, who we'll talk about soon.
Oh my God.
Just kind of
right.
I would definitely like to have a cultural rival to Hollywood and Disney and everything.
Given a choice, I think I'd prefer for a lot of stuff to be open source.
Right? Of course. I mean, yeah.
Do we got to choose between monopolies? Right? Can't it be something different?
I love my tyrant. He's the best.
Yeah, really.
Another anniversary. I guess we're going to be celebrating one in a few years, but the 40th anniversary of Call of Cthulhu is getting us a new version of the starter set. Okay. So they revised the starter set, and they also just finished they fulfilled the Kickstarter for the reprint of Call of Cthulhu Classic, which is actually second edition. But it's a beautiful reproduction. I did an unboxing if you want to look on the channel. Oh, I guess it's still Cthulhu.
Yeah,
it's okay. We'll keep those up. They had to digitally clean up. They didn't have any originals or anything, so they digitally cleaned up all of the original books for second edition, all the handouts and everything. It's beautiful. It's amazing, and they reproduced as well as they could with the typography and everything in a digital version, all of that. So that's probably available at retail also. But this new starter set is just an update. There's errata, new box art by Lin Sheng, and interior and cover designs, errata corrections, and then new investigator sheets to kind of update with the 40th anniversary. So yeah, and that's the best way into Call of Cthulhu. It's got that solo adventure to teach you how to play the game, so you'll know how to run it, you'll know how the mechanics work just by kind of doing a choose your own adventure solo. So
spoilers, you go mad.
So that's a good thing to check out, and so support Chaosium and not Hasbro's nightmare. Get into their stuff. Another weird corporate thing that happened was the DC Comics website dropped comics from the URL. So now it's just dc.com. Okay. And I guess what they're doing is kind of streamlining and simplifying things because they want to talk about many different kinds of media on that site. And also the URL that's got 2 C's in a row.
DC
so maybe,
Comics,
DCCC. So maybe not such...
to be confused with Dungeon Crawl Classic Comics?
Right. You're right. Yes. Yeah, Dungeon Crawl, of course, the Omics version. Yep. They unveil their fan-focused portal, DC.com, which will give fans access to all things DC, from fan first news, the DC Universe Infinite, DC Shop, DC Community, and DC on HBO Max. So they used to have their own streaming service. They tried to do their own streaming service, and now it's just HBO Max. But
which got bought by Discovery, right?
Yes, right. So now, and that's this restructuring. So they just had the Batgirl movie canceled, which was like a between $70 and $90 million movie.
They also apparently canceled the Scoob.
Oh, Scoob!
Yeah, which you know what? Okay, that movie was surprisingly good, right? Surprisingly entertainment, right? Okay, right. Mark fucking Wahlberg aside, it was. I would have liked to see more of that, but like I'm still trying to wrap my head around how you can just write off and not release a completely finished movie and come out ahead.
Right, and especially when there's like they're worried about hurting that IP, and there's so much streaming service and like previous stuff there's been a lot of garbage with that IP, so why not? I don't know. So it's it's strange that they're doing a lot of streamlining because now DC's owner. So there was a merge. There was the new name of Warner Brothers Discovery. So I guess Discovery is big enough that it just like AOL, it got added. I guess so. Got added Time Warner AOL. So now it's Warner Brothers Discovery that owns all this stuff. And so there was some movie cancellations and a lot of TV shows and things that they're producing.
A lot of animation TV shows are now getting axed, which kind of gets back to my point about before. Like, okay, piracy is becoming an ethical choice where. There is no physical copies of these things. It's just gone. Yeah, right?
It's not going to get released, and it really sucks. So people that have digitally recorded them while they were available.
Imagine working on something like that. Like in my feed, I see like I don't follow exclusively animators, but I seeing animators. I've never watched this thing called Infinity Train. People are just like, cool, something I worked on for X years of my life. Just now, mine is just poof, gone, doesn't exist anymore.
Wow. Yeah, that really sucks. And so this is leading a lot of people. So some DC artists, former DC artists, have kind of forecasted this, and they are suspecting that the print side of this, that DC may just be a license manager, and the actual books are going to be made by other studios, other companies, and you're just going to have to pay to use that. And the thing that's unique about Disney as compared to Marvel is DC really went after giving every character a logo, an identifiable logo that can be used as a license for a T-shirt and everything. So their licensing of just those icons, just those superhero logos, makes as much money, probably not more, than the comic books themselves. Right. So that's the value, and that's what. So controlling that license is the value of DC. So they could probably care less if there were actually comic books, which is pretty sad.
Wow, I never thought about they could potentially just license those
you
characters
know what Superman
and
is.
stuff
We don't
out
have to
there.
tell you any more Superman stories, do we? So we'll see. And so their next movie coming out is Black Adam, who might serve as like the Thanos of if they're going to continue a DC universe. But we'll see. We'll see what they're going to do. And as they keep chopping stuff up, who knows? And there's also the Sandman. I guess that's under Warner Brothers Discovery as well, because it's not. Is it on HBO? No, it's on Netflix.
I couldn't tell you.
That's right. It's so confusing because Japanese Netflix has a lot of stuff that's not supposed to be on there. But there's a Sandman series out now.
Here's apparently very good.
Yeah. So we will see. And our last little thing, more corporate shenanigans and battles. So our first kind of like very public, because they're putting everything out there about what Games Workshop is trying to do. Colts 3D versus Games Workshop. So they got a takedown notice from Games Workshop, and Pierre, the co-founder of Colts, posting to inform you Games Workshop has contacted us through their lawyers to ask us to remove about 200 creations that infringe, according to them, on their copyright.
Okay.
In this list, there are 65 models for sale, so pay-for models. Okay. That we have. There's 65 paying models that we have rejected. The users who are part of this list have at least one creation rejected from the site will be informed, and then they'll be told what they need to change, like what the complaint was, the name, the iconography.
So in other words, what the Cult 3D guy is saying is like, okay, people tried to upload this to our site for pay, and we said no. Yeah, right. Like we rejected it.
And this is what you'd have to do to change it. So 200 models, but the interesting approach that they're taking is our free models are fan art. So unless you're going to take down all the fan art, we're not making any money from this. This is just supporting.
You're probably losing money a little bit by hosting.
Right?
Stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And this is just supporting your IP as fan art does. So unless you're going to take all, that is Games Workshop's approach, because the fan animation, they're like, we don't care. These are gorgeous 3D rendered commercials for our IP, but fuck you. You either sign the contract with us or you can't make them anymore. So so they're kind of taking that approach, and we'll have to see if that works. We'll have to see what.
I wonder if they provided any kind of list of the things that got taken down, because I'm not going to, because I have little enough time as it is. I would be very curious how close these things are to GW official stuff.
Some of them, I took a look at the site, just searched Warhammer on the site still, and there are stuff that is like, just like someone looking at the photos or probably looking at the assembly instructions and building it in 3D. Yep. So they're almost one-to-one. With maybe some icons or things lacking. But the list, it was interesting. We're seeing now why they did all those name changes, especially with Age of Sigmar, because the list that they sent was mostly those names. So no Eldar, it's Eldari, and all the orcs and dwarves and everything. So they kind of their de-Tolkienized list of names is now legally enforceable.
Well, that's not a surprise. I mean, okay, again, I haven't played a GW game in ages, but once I saw that change. Almost every example of the name had a little TM after it, right? Or the last time I went to go get contrast paints, it's like every name is like TM after it. I'm like, it is very clear why you did that, right? Because you can't copyright or trademark orc or elf or whatever, but you can copyright Eldari with the two eyes, right? And that's the only reason you made that change.
Yeah,
right?
Somebody must have been busy filing those trademark.
I'm sure.
Filings. That was like a full-time job for a large team for a while. That was probably why Age of Sigmar sucked at the release, because they spent
all the rules people are
just file the trademarks. We don't care about the rules. Just whatever, get it out there. Yeah, so we'll have to see. And Cults 3D. Oh, I guess we don't need Cthulhu anymore. Cults 3D is doing a. They're being pretty open about it. We haven't seen everything yet. They shared on a private Discord that's for the creators on the site what the full list was and kind of what everything is. So they're not releasing it publicly, but I think it will eventually.
That's fair.
Yeah, it will eventually come out, and we'll see. And so this is, I guess, the first big challenge to that. So they went after the animators, they cleared them all out, put them in contract with them, and they're producing zero. They're producing nothing. All of those amazing animators are doing nothing under Games Workshop contract, and which is exactly what they wanted, exactly the intention. And so we'll see what happens with this and 3D, if this is going to stifle 3D, if you're just going to, you're not going to be able to buy anything that someone's made that even resembles. Although, without the name, they don't have a lot of the likeness. If you push it a little bit, then you have the Starship Troopers, or you have Dune, or you have, so it's like they're not, their IP is a real mishmash of stuff. So.
It's recognizable, and which fair enough. You can defend that, but like you push a little bit, and it can be its own thing, which I think is why, at least in this case, those things are probably going to get taken down, right? And once that list becomes public, it then is just going to become a don't do this list. Right. So for artists, like, great, okay, you can make your generic Space Marine as long as it does not have this, this, and this, and this, and this, right? And we're safe, right?
No skulls. Yeah. And I was part of a Kickstarter that got canceled by Games Workshop because it was kind of a mini Hammer. I forget they were doing the kind of Plague Marines style, and Games Workshop stepped in and they went straight to Kickstarter and said, "Get this out of here. This is our IP." And it wasn't. I mean, it wasn't that close. It was just, and it wasn't named anything. Like there was nothing recognized. You could recognize the units that they were kind of supposed to be, but they're proxies. They were definitely proxies for the game. But that was taken down. That was 3D printed. That was STLs. So yeah, it's starting. They're starting to go after this thing, but it's going to be an insane number of these things.
Well, I mean,
up.
I think GW has the funds and the legal team to do it.
Right, yeah. That's true. I mean, they've had enough success now that they can employ a lot of people. So maybe they'll just switch the trademark team over to legal counsel. And all right. So that's it for this exhausting week. So if you're a patron, you got to listen to our rambling about the one D&D. And Chris watched the trailer live, which was an odd thing that people got confused on the live stream about. Yeah. But take a look. So that'll be on YouTube and Twitch. And where can people find you?
On Twitter, as always. That's Hivemind, HYVEMYND, where my feed is now nothing but that girl yelling into the dude's ear at the Fish concert, which has become everyone's favorite fucking meme. It's just an awesome format. Like, that's all it is, right? Nice. So if you don't like that, don't go to my fucking Twitter. Right? Anyway, how about you?
Nice. I do a single panel gag cartoon, and I draw that live on stream Monday nights, North American time, on both YouTube and Twitch. Abusecartoons on all social media. And if you want to read the cartoons of the past, the archive, gocomics.com/domestic abuse. And this is the weekly live on Upturned Table. So go to upturnedtable.com for everything that we're doing. I just posted a great interview with Andreas from Sweden Rolls and learn all about the history of Swedish roleplay, as well as the origin of that podcast. An actual play podcast with actors that are all new to role-playing.
Ooh.
Yeah, so very interesting approach. And it comes across. There's a lot of vitality, a lot of curiosity, a lot of playfulness that is not like, hey, I'm an established voice actor. Here comes my crazy voice. Like, it doesn't have the stuff that
produced.
That you've heard in it. But very high quality. And Andreas does all of the original music for it.
Ooh, nice.
So characters have themes. The themes change. The character dies. There's a sad version of the character's theme. Depending on what game they're playing, the instruments change for the theme song of the podcast. It's amazing. And he's done some official soundtracks for Free League games.
Oh, wow.
And also Swedish Call of Cthulhu. So I posted all of that, all of his links on that video. So take a look at that post. So interview with Andreas from Sweden Rolls. So that'll do it for this week.
Awesome.
We will be back next week.
Later, mortals.
Goodbye.
Cool.
All right.
Oi. All right, I got to bounce and I got to go stealth watch that corporately produced one D&D.
Be right back. All right. Sorry about that. That's the silence to take out the the room tone, room noise for the audio. All right. So hey, how is everyone doing? Matt and Miguel and Alvaro, nice to see you guys in the chat. Yeah. So sorry about that confusing beginning. I just wanted to do that right away. Wanted because Chris had I sent the trailer. I sent a link to the trailer, and Chris said I didn't see it, so I thought we'd watch it live. But I didn't want to pop it up just in case we got a strike on it. So we just watched it with subtitles, just to see all the stuff they were touching on. And the closed caption didn't work very well, so it made a lot of mistakes. So it was a little confusing, but I think we got through the idea. But that was such a corporate. Yeah, you could just tell how they went from point to point. I guess just like they did with their insider thing, their kind of Nintendo style update about everything that's coming. But yeah, it was only a stun grenade, said Matt. Yeah, I said Matt threw a grenade in when talking about the Embracer buying the Middle Earth. That's just brutal. Yeah, and there's still, even in that trailer, there's still, or not. I guess it wasn't the trailer. It was the talk about the unearthed arcana and the kind of changes to the player's handbook. Jeremy Crawford is still saying races, and I guess they're just taking the bonuses out of races and putting them in background and class and everything instead. So it's not biological. It's environment versus nature versus it's nurture versus nature. So we'll see. Yeah, Embracer. That's really good, Alvaro. The Embracer has gone too far. The shadow has reached the last of the free peoples. Yeah, the free peoples of Middle Earth are now owned and operated by Embracer Group, funded by Saudi Arabia. It's brutal. Yeah, and that trailer dropped at like 2 a.m. It's also funny. Take a look for the Just D&D Japanese trailer. So they just did a Japanese trailer, and 5e is trailing really far behind and kind of is a distant second with a bunch of other domestically made fantasy RPGs and even Pathfinder in Japan. So number one with a bullet is Call of Cthulhu, and 5e hasn't made much of an impression. They're trying really hard, and they just released a Japanese language trailer. And the funny thing is, Chris and I were trying to figure out if this was a happy accident in a kind of mistranslation or a mishearing, because there's a lot more sounds in English than Japanese. So if you say something to a Japanese person, they'll take a limited number of sounds and try to reproduce that. And so sometimes words can be very confusing because things sound all the same. And in Japan, they call tabletop role-playing games, instead of tabletop games, they're Teiburu Toku games, table talk games. So you're talking at the table. So it makes it very clear it's not a board game. It's not a party game. Table talk games, and that's the standard translation of RPGs. And so tabletop RPGs are called table talk games. So they reinforce that in the trailer. The DM says that at the end, and I think that's really funny. So I wonder if that came from some sort of mishearing or misunderstanding, but it makes more sense than calling everything tabletop. So yeah, table talking games is very funny. All right. So Miguel was afraid to ask what we were being tortured with. Yeah, because Chris and I were just reading the subtitles. So we were staring off into the distance saying, D&D is entering a whole new era of amazing. Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, so end of versions. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense, because even in that trailer, they said, okay, 5e is perfect. Can't fix those mechanics. Those rules are as good as it gets. So let's just pile a bunch of crap on top of it. I mean, that's the problem. I think both Pathfinder and D&D have that, where to release new material, you can release new settings and modules and adventures and things, but then you're also adding, subclasses and feats and races, and so now it's just way too much. So who knows? Yeah. So get ready for the 2E bloat that never ends. Yeah, exactly, Matt. We're gonna just see this like the work a DM is going to have to do to learn the 365 playable races in Dungeons and Dragons, and what that even means, and culturally, how those cultures work, and like what you would even be if you're this kind of, because they already previewed the opposite, the tiefling instead of the demon based, or whatever the term that they use, that hell based tiefling. There's a ardling or something that's a like light based kind of faith or god based. So they're already adding weird balancing stuff for people that are afraid of demons, I guess. So yeah, drive through sold their souls to Roll20 just in time for WotC to pull the carpet out from under them. Yeah, I mean, it's just like, where does drive through RPG fit in that? And also, like, then when does all that DM's Guild stuff go? Is that just going to be ported into their new digital thing, or is it going to be this weird third-party thing that's like, you could play those if you want, but don't you want to play the official stuff that has the official digital assets that you can have printed? You can do this, you can do that. You know, that they want you in their garden. If you ever want to play a subscription, subscription service D&D, I'll join a Midwinter Nights. Yeah, server somewhere. Nice. Yeah, that's exactly it. That was a strange thing that they emphasized with that weird camera thing that they're going to do. They're going to use like a camera effect that's like the toy setting on a digital camera app, where it makes the miniatures look small and the table look like you're looking down on a little tiny thing, so that it doesn't feel like one of those, you know, now how virtual tabletops feel, just a top-down PC fantasy RPG. So trying to change that up. The guy that farted out Flubber is here and works at a comic book store. All right. Is that a bot as well? Check that out, Matt. It's that guy that farted. Do YouTube bots, are they flatulent? So Alvaro said, it's becoming more like a subscription video game with a human aid engine. Yeah, exactly. I can see it getting a lot of money and not something I'd be interested in, though. Yeah, they're going to create, I think, a real generational gap, because there's people that are just not going to be able to navigate. Like, you're not going to be able to get, 60 and over age-wise players to even go near that stuff. So it's going to be for the kids. And like I said before the podcast, I don't think Wizards realizes how fickle younger generation is. They were just lucky to be the Xerox Kleenex of role-playing games. But, they'll abandon anything. They abandon Facebook, they abandon, all social media platforms, and another new thing comes out. So somebody with even more money throws something at a platform, a TTRPG platform, and they'll just run to that if it's got more of what they want. If it doesn't, if you get some taint, if D&D gets some taint on it, where somebody starts tagging it with, calling it different names that are derogative, the kids are just going to flee. So that's the kind of infrastructure and the investment that they're going to do for a digital platform is a huge risk if first of all, if it doesn't work, and then if nobody wants to play it. So it's not interesting at all. And I can't even imagine, like, they have that little tease where you're seeing all these 3D models, and then a hand reaches out and picks up this giant, like 2 foot tall dragon miniature. It's like, what would that even cost to produce? There's no way. I mean, there are the premium, players that buy those like crazy whiz kids Tiamats and stuff that are $500 or whatever. Embracing. I got super embraced. Miguel is confused by the tentacles. Yeah, so we're talking Embracer Group purchasing. Yeah. So Miguel says, Amazon is busy insulting fans that don't like the fanfic of Lord of the Rings. Yeah, that's right. They were too busy figuring out how to destroy it to see if they should buy the rights or not. It's really interesting, though, because there was all that reporting that they had the rights to The Hobbit. So they could make a series about it. They could do a movie, whatever. Where did that go? And I wonder. And so that's why I'm going to kind of wait for things to shake out, and maybe we'll return to the topic of like where that leaves a lot of things, because nobody was reporting anything very clear, and there's a lot of confusion about what did they buy, what do they own, where does that leave other people. And there's also, so they have the movie rights now technically, and but there's still claims by Warner Brothers and New Line, or whoever produced the Peter Jackson stuff. They still have a claim to that. They still think they have the rights to that. So that could be contested. And then if they're going to go after HarperCollins for the book publishing, that can be contested as well. So who knows? Yeah. Hopefully that they said that leaves stuff in the press release, that leaves current licenses intact, but we don't know how many years Free League's one ring license is. That would be really a shame if that interrupted that at all. just to like, bring it in house to hand it over to Fantasy Flight or whatever. That would be really depressing. But that much, yeah. the cringe of power. Yeah, so he may have loved them, but that much power corrupts. Oh, yeah, that's very true. I talked about the CEO of Embracer, and people are saying he's a good guy. That they actually have respect for him. But yeah, it's like owning that much stuff and that many companies and being able to say, you do a comic, you do a board game, you do a collectible card game. That's pretty crazy. Hopefully, it's just a supervisory overseeing and just like facilitating, just kind of facilitating cooperation with these licenses between these companies. But we'll see. Going forward with crazy ass Ezra, what's his face? Oh, that's right. Oh, the Flash movie, crazy ass Ezra, what's his face? Yeah, right. DC. I guess they spent too much money. Like they killed Batgirl, and that was like 70 million or more. But I think it's over 100 million for the Flash, and they're not going to kill both movies that Michael Keaton was in. So one of those has to show up. So yeah, I guess the Flash may happen. We don't know. We'll have to see what Ezra is up to. Yes, kill the tentacle. Sorry, those went on a little long. Visually distracting. Hopefully you're just listening to this and not watching the wonky visuals. All right. Oh, it's a very In the Name of the Rose interpretation of comic logos. Oh, yeah. So some of the very close. Yeah, Miguel. Yeah, that's right. Some of that stuff. The models on there are just 1-to-1. They're not, an artist's interpretation of it. They just probably looked at the instruction sheet and saw each of the parts and just rebuilt them piece at a time. So, so we'll see what happens with that. But if they don't charge for them, yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting thing. GW and Watsy trying to outdouche each other this week. Yes, exactly. Oh yeah, Matt, and thank you to Matt. I didn't mention that when I was plugging the Sweden Rolls interview. Matt facilitated that completely. So he connected Andreas and I, and we had a really, really fun discussion. So fun to talk to, and I just kind of blundered into, so what about this Swedish roleplay? And the Drakar Oknimoner, Andreas gave me a really good history of that, and talked about it. And also because I was curious about Riot Minds, like because they had bought from Target Games, they bought the license and what they did with it. And I didn't know how much they upset the players in Sweden. I just know they confused the players in English with their odd rule systems, but I didn't know all the stuff that they did. So check out that interview for that, and also look for the link for the SoundCloud and all of Andreas's music links too. Really good stuff. If you like the music of that actual play podcast, you can listen to all of his soundtracks. And if you've backed any freely Kickstarters recently, he's done the soundtrack, the official soundtrack on the Kickstarters. That was one of the stretch goals. So you probably have some of his music already available to download. So Miguel says, I'm an old fart, so to me, RPGs is meeting with friends over drinks and rolling dice. Yeah, definitely. And that weird thing that they showed, where they showed the Unreal Engine VTT and then the tabletop, and the miniature was there, and the miniature was also in the digital realm. Are you just going to let players go around the room and just let players decide? Are you going to roll, virtually, or are you going to roll actual dice? And it's a weird mix of things. And I think there's already too many laptops and phones in game. If they're not looking up rules, I don't really think they have a lot of place there. But it's going to start integrating all that devices a lot more and be a lot more distractive. And when it's not your turn, you can check Twitter and stuff. I think that's a really bad. I've actually had that. I've had that during sessions, that people are jumping on Twitter. It's like, listen, if you're not going to participate, then why are you even here? Yeah. There's one looking back pre-2019. Oh, this is Abyss. Oh, hey, Abyss. How's it going? When looking back pre-2019 or something, a lot has changed so drastically. Yeah. And this is, I think, a direct result of those former Microsoft execs and the pandemic. Like they're looking at that huge growth in in virtual tabletop use and saying, yeah, well, that's where we got to be, and they're going to use the the wealth, the assets, the resources of Hasbro and WotC to try to stay ahead of this, but they could make a really big misstep. And if there's garbage, if the tools are garbage, the technology is garbage, they're not going to back it like they've done with everything in the past. Everything that every tool and everything that they were supposed to be developing that never happened, never worked. Yeah. Hey, K5, how's it going? Good to see you. I saw you, sorry, on the cartoon stream you were in right at the beginning. And I'm still following K5's suggestion of chronologically going through my cartoon archive. So if you want to hear me talk about the entire history of my cartoon, which is a great idea because it's much more cohesive because the cartoon kind of goes through phases and stuff. So it's more fun to kind of talk about and explain. So K5 is brilliant with the suggestions. That's really good. Nice. Yeah, eventually, yeah, we'll have to see what happens. And Embracer's done nothing yet but acquire, so we have no idea, what the intention is and if they can even pull off this kind of, synergy that they're going for. Yes, a very special occasion. Sorry, I'm catching up. We're all mortal, even the bad guy, says Matt. Hey, unknown girl, how's it going? Oh, wonderful. Oh, nice. So you got the domestic abuse collection book? That's so sweet. Thank you so much for ordering that. Very cool. Oh, nice. that doesn't say much for the excitement of my cartoon stream. K5 could sleep right through it. Nice. What's my weird head doing there? Chris, there's Chris too. Right. Yeah, thank you so much for ordering the book. That's wonderful. All right. So Abyss is not so sober enough to think of anything clever. Just the cringe. Yeah, so it's a weird announcement, and I think it's kind of like throwing down a weird digital gauntlet that I don't think Wizards of the Coast can follow up on. We're really going to have to see what they're able to do as far as follow through. And they kind of, they did that thing where they showed off all that stuff, and they said, D&D digital is a ways off. So this could be 10 years away. Like they could be in, development hell, like MMO kind of development hell, trying to get this thing to work. And there'll be like a new version of Unreal Engine probably before they even get it launched. But it seems a little too ambitious from what we've seen WotC be able to pull off. So unless they're going to just acquire companies that are already doing that and get that jump on it, I don't think they can create this kind of technology from scratch and make it playable on everybody's PC, get everybody, seeing things the same. I mean, just the variation of, Android devices makes it pretty rough to put, viewable digital files on everybody's devices. And they have no idea what they're stepping into. I think they've just got, Microsoft executives saying this is where we need to be and hitting them with all the corp speak. And so it's just silly that they're announcing this so early. But I guess it's like they want to be looking forward and showing how far the things can go for this anniversary. I think they want this anniversary to be a big thing. So we'll see. Right. Sorry. So my tablet's as usual. It seems to just like run out of memory. That's brutal. Nice. Oh yeah, that's right. The milk bottles and beer is in that first collection. That's right. That'll have to be the cover art for the next one. Nice. Yeah, thanks so much. I really appreciate that. Amazon and that's coming up. That's like 2 weeks away. And did you guys see that kind of little stealth move that they made? So Amazon, of course, is based in North America. So they switched. They're like, oh, we're releasing this series on the anniversary of Tolkien's death. So let's quietly shift it a day earlier, so it's September 1st, but that's still in England and most of the rest of the world. That's still September 2nd. So still in England, it's going to be the anniversary of Tolkien's death. They're actually better off having it, in America, be September 2nd. So stupid. So they have no clue what they're doing. And it's going to be quite a debacle. Hopefully it'll make good content. Like, I don't want to watch it, so I will just watch the people that watched it and enjoy, find somebody with a fun opinion and someone that's going to tear it apart like that. Alt X, maybe they won't do the Lord of the Rings because they're going to do the Game of Thrones series. But there's a couple of good channels that do fun analysis and kind of deep dive in the lore. So that would be the most fun thing. Is somebody saying they got this wrong, this is impossible, these people weren't alive at the same time, this location didn't exist, this is new, this is an original character. So it'll be fun to watch. People kind of tear that up. Oh, excellent. Oh, thank you, K5. Yeah, I love the Abusecartoons streams are very energizing for me. They keep me going on the cartoon itself. I'll forgive Hasbro. This is Alvaro saying, if Hasbro revives Greyhawk, heck, I'll even join the video gaming RPG experience. Yeah, there are some things that are gonna, like, I think there's a lot of people that are right on that borderline. They can deal with the digital technology and they want to see kind of beloved things from their early gaming days revive. So if they can handle that balance, they really need basically like an OSR and a future D&D next kind of group to both be producing content to keep, I think, everybody happy. But it's so funny that they're just like, yeah, 5e D&D is done. That's as good as it's ever going to be. It's really funny. All right. Oh, there we go. I'm opting in again. Why does that keep? I thought I have to opt in every stream. Oh, maybe I don't have the monetization on. That's why it asked me to opt in. All right. Matt's saying no. Don't go over to the dark side. Okay, so I've opted in on the gifts again. So thank you. If that's K5 motivating that, let me turn on monetization. I forgot. I wish you could just have that default on for live streams, but yeah, I've got to manually do that. So actors have started with, if you don't like character X, you're a racist game. Yeah, that's become like a marketing strategy. I think that's all Disney's marketing strategy now, is just do the racism thing on social media and guilt people into to watching your show. You're releasing on Tolkien's death day. It kind of says it all. Yeah, Matt, I think that's right. I think they're basically saying, yeah, we're just gonna piss on the corpse of a great contributor to the fantasy genre, and what are you going to do about it? Because we own the rights for the appendices. Yeah, so yeah, somebody was talking about how much they paid. So Amazon, they paid like 200 million or something for just the rights to what they're using for their source to do that series, to do their episodic series. And the price tag for all of it might actually be not much more than that. So that's pretty funny. Oh, man. Yeah, so Amazon's PR is working hard, says Miguel, of course. Yeah, it's been a lot of... It's just all the virtue signaling, saying the first this, the first that, the first this. It's all untrue, and it's so disrespectful to, actors in the 60s and 70s that, are probably a lot of them are dead or very ancient now, and they should have, they should be the people that we're looking at as the pioneers, or the people that first did this, the first interracial kiss on television, all that stuff that we had already done. And for some reason, it's like this weird age, maybe it's the combination of narcissism and then like SJW kind of, politics, that they want to be the first one. They wish so they're just going to tweak it a little bit. Okay, so I'm the first this, that, with this plus this. And so, yeah, that would make me the first. Yeah, you have to put all these qualifications in to be the first. A lot of firsts have already been done. Like Hollywood has not been, as racist as it's being portrayed for a long time. Yeah, it's odd. Uh, yeah, taking the beards from dwarves. Yeah, right. Real life bearded women should be pretty pissed about that. Yeah, and right, yeah, Miguel says $1 billion budget for that series, and they're saying it's going to be 5 seasons. I would be really impressed if they get it there, because yeah, and it might be like Walking Dead or whatever, where they put money into the beginning and it's not getting the viewership, it's not getting new subscribers, so it just kind of like turns into walking and talking in hallways, so they can just get it done. So I'm going to watch the first episode. I'll be super skeptical. This is Matt. But I got to see. Yeah. I'm curious the level of production and everything, because from some of the stuff they're teasing, it looks really kind of mixed. There's stuff that looks like a motion picture almost, and then there's stuff that looks very much like a CW TV show. Some of the armor and stuff is very hot heat gun foam looking. So Miguel said, it pisses me off a lot because if you want to be inclusive, do it. Yeah, but do it the right way. Yeah, and that's the thing. The even in that one D&D thing, they have to hit right away with the inclusion thing. And it's so, role-playing games are so funny to say, I never saw someone that looked at like myself, as a hero in an RPG. It's like, what are you talking about? I mean, obviously this is people that have started with 5e and all the, gorgeous digital art of all the characters, depictions of all the characters. The art that we had in the 3 line drawings in like original D&D books, nobody looked like that. Nobody could even tell what race most of those characters were, or even gender, because of how poorly they were drawn. It was all theater of the mind. You saw yourself as the character, because what's going on? I mean, we're in this age of the, paying for your art, your character art and everything that looks exactly like you. So saying that, you can make those accusations about, movies and television stuff that's been cast with actual actors that have an actual race and gender that you can't identify with. But tabletop role play, that's the stupidest thing to say that about, because that's why most people played it, because they could be whatever they wanted, themselves or not themselves. And yeah, it's really stupid to say. It's like, I don't think it was early on, it was particularly exclusive, like keeping anyone out, because if you could get the book, you could play. Anybody could play. So that pisses me off. Oh yeah. The series will be from the Middle Earth equivalent of Africa, and all characters are created during my long geek life. Wormy, yeah, exactly, Miguel. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. That's so stupid to say that inclusive thing, because it is you, and it's like whoever is at your table, that is what your party looks like, and that's who you are. Unless you really hate your height or your build or whatever, and then you could make your character someone that didn't look like that. But it's so weird. It's just the weird narcissism that we're kind of buried in now that makes it so impossible to figure. And that's what's like, I think that's a big part of what's tainting the Lord of the Rings. It's narcissism and just this power to like, well, I want to insert my thing into Tolkien. So I'm a writer on this. I'm a showrunner on this. So we're putting this in here because that's what I would like to see. And it's like, well, then you're not being true to the source. And why did you pay all that money for the source if all you wanted to do is have your say, change it from orange to green is the thing that you wanted the most. So sorry, I guess me reading comments off my phone looks pretty terrible on stream. Brutal. So hopefully I left a little bit more light on while we were recording, and hopefully that's going to stop. It's still doing a little bit, but the camera is adjusting when the lights change temperature. It seems like the exposure of the video changes as well. So sorry if it fluctuates too much, but Miguel, I think that's a good point. I think that's such an unfair, and it's like one of the first things that they said is having some girl say, how I never saw me. It's like, you could have always been there. It was just your inability to imagine yourself, not anything having to do with the creators that didn't put yourself in there. Matt said, typically PCs are improved image of the player Straying too far from yourself can affect your play. Oh yeah, that's an interesting point. Yeah, that's right. And also, like, if you're doing something that is not what you are, or who you are, or who you're even kind of capable of being, then you'll play it as a weird stereotype, or you'll do some of your role play might be a little weird because this is how a 7 foot tall half orc would behave. You have no idea, and so you're kind of imposing weird kind of stuff. What? uh yeah, that's a very very interesting. Thank you so much, Matt, for everything, for so much, for hooking me up with Andreas, and also sending me the link for both the crazy stories. So we'll probably revisit the one D&D thing again. I don't think it's going to go away anytime soon, especially if they keep releasing trailers and stuff. But yeah, that was released. I had everything finished and everything posted as far as the notes and everything for this this week. So I was like, I can't really add that on. So we just added it on at the beginning for the Patreon and the people that were watching the live stream and the Patreon. So yeah, that's good. Abyss is trying to log into PayPal with Patreon. Oh my God. Uh-oh, look at those wrenches. So yeah, hopefully we can finish the Blade Runner. So our third session, which will be a pretty short session. We've only got like half a day left in game time for Blade Runner. So yeah, I'll put all that together, and we are recording audio. So I'm gonna see how that cuts together. I don't know if I can cut like some of our rules lookups and stuff and make kind of break it into a couple of parts and have a cohesive actual play of that if I have permission from the players. We'll see. And also I'll see like technically how it sounds and everything, if I can get it to sound nice to listen to. And if it's not perfect, then it can be maybe a Patreon exclusive. Matt's working hard, slinging that wrench. Bits is too wasted. You gotta give him a break. Nice. Those are the best viewers of any live stream, is somebody incredibly wasted. Yeah, I think on the cartoon stream, a lot of people are relaxed, very aided in their relaxation. Oh wow. All right. Well, yeah. Sorry. I hope that wasn't too bombastic a live stream. I just I wanted to mention that stuff right out of the gate, because that's what everyone is all complaining or reacting to right now. So it's really strange, and talking about it a week late, I don't think it's going to be that interesting. So go to the beginning of the live stream if you missed that, or if you're a patron listening to this on the audio. Yeah, at the beginning, I apologize if that was too much craziness. Nice. Oh, that's right. I see. For the Blade Runner AP. Yes, that's right. So Matt only gives us permission as long as his character doesn't die. I can't guarantee. I mean, there's going to be a lot of Ender assault rifles showing up at some point, so we'll have to see how that goes. Only a few times I've been drunk typing in your chat. Oh, unknown girl. That's totally fine. It's probably makes it much more fun. If I said, oh right, I saw the Cthulhu Set unboxing. Oh, nice stuff. Yeah, great. Had they converted the materials to 7e, I would have bought it. Right. Yeah, it was just it's kind of like an archival kind of historical thing. Yeah, because it is just at 2e as it was published. I don't think though, because the system didn't change so much, so that the adventures I think would still be pretty usable with minor tweaks in 7e. But yeah, I can't believe reading through the little letter that was included, and I think on also the Kickstarter they talked about what they went through to make that work, and they had just scans of the originals, and then they went through and digitally like redid it all, and the art looks great. They were able to reproduce a lot of the grayscale art really well. So yeah, that's quite an achievement and quite a box, and I guess worthy of an anniversary, worthy of a 40th anniversary. Your dice rolls. Yeah, I've got to double check the grenade mechanics in Blade Runner. I think I got it right, but it works either way, because the rules for that hit squad that you guys ran into is one guy goes down, they grab him and get the hell out of there. So even if you didn't kill all of them with a single grenade, you still would have gotten one. But yeah, we'll see. Yeah, I'm torturing Matt's character. There's a lot of everybody that dies. Matt's character has to apologize for and become responsible for. It's brutal. Yeah, but yeah, the Blade Runner, that first case file is fun. I was in my first kind of skim through that core book PDF, and I hate reading PDFs. It took me a long time to get through that whole core book just because it was a PDF. I can't believe how much better, like physical books, like Tales from the Loop or Star Trek or anything. Once I had the physical book, I could just blow through it and digest everything so well, and then just be able to jump around more easily, like you'd be able to clarify things. PDFs are just so miserable to read for me. I mean, that's showing my age and maybe my Luddite tendencies, but as far as like absorbing systems and stuff, I hate doing it only from a PDF. That's right. I need another grenade to keep in my pocket. Yeah, fun stuff. Yeah, that's a good point. I think I just need a better reader. Yeah, Alvaro, I think that's a good point. I should stop using Adobe Acrobat and reading through things that way. I think there's a lot of better options. Yeah, because even opening a PDF in Kindle or whatever makes it a little bit better reading experience. The way you can zoom and flip pages is a little bit better, and bookmark things and stuff. But yeah, it's brutal. Nice, Miguel said. He dodged a AA missile using a high-rise in Cyberpunk. Nice. Fun times. Matt said, I used to hate reading long PDFs, but on a big tablet, it's not so bad. Yeah, I need to steal my daughter's iPad. My iPad is ancient, and she's got a 12 by 9. That would be heaven. And the newest, really nice display. Yeah, I need to do that more often. Just when she's not using it. And it's so stupid. So she's got an iPad from her grandparents, and the school gave her an iPad. So she's got multiple iPads, and I have a 8-year-old, whatever, one of the third generation or whatever iPad. What's going on? I could be drawing on an iPad, but yeah, what are you going to do? But yeah, and then we got to decide what we're going to do after Blade Runner, because this is the first case file, and it'll kind of end a narrative, and we'll have to decide what's next. Oh my God. Yeah. I guess education has really, it's worked well. And Apple's always done that. They've been donating to schools, giving computer labs to schools and stuff in the 90s. So, of course, yeah, iPads have become an important part of education. That's right. Yeah, that's what I can do. I'll just seize the iPad, the power of the state. Yeah, but then so Alvaro says, then you have to choose between buying a new tablet or 5 books. Oh yeah. The price, unless you're gonna get a tiny little 64 gig hard drive on an iPad, those things are $1,000. It's crazy. And in Japan, and probably all over. But Japan just noticeably got a 20% price jump, 30% price jump on all Apple products. So iPads and iPhones and everything just jumped up 30%. And they're saying because of, chip and display shortages and stuff. Oh, or Dragonbane. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Because that Kickstarter is launching the end. So if they have something we can play from the Kickstarter, we should try Dragonbane. Yeah. Oh, and as far as Andreas didn't talk in detail about the system, but gave really high praise to what Free League did for the Dragons and Demons English version, the Dragonbane that they're releasing. That it's got 5e basic role play and the engine, their engine in it. the Year Zero, goddamn, the Year Zero engine, and it's like a really nice combination of those, and so it's going to keep Swedish players happy because they'll play an English version, and he even said originally Free League was saying this is only going to be released in Swedish, and then they kind of shifted, and Sweden Rolls is Swedish role play in English, so they played the Swedish version of it. At a big event, actual play, like on a stage, like in a church, I think, actual play, and all in Swedish. And then they said, "Oh yeah, it's coming out in English." And so they were a little bit frustrated by that because they'd already committed to Forbidden Lands for like a long-term campaign. But yeah, if there's anything on the Kickstarter, we'll jump on that right away. Yeah, so Dragonbane is a whole new thing. So there's going to be percentile dice in it, or maybe at least D20s, to keep the older, old Swedish kind of original Swedish players happy, because it's not Draka or Octomona if it's goes too far away from that. If it's all D6s, that's not the right game. It's not the right system for that game, according the original players would say. So it's going to be a little Year Zero, a little 5e, and a little basic roleplay, is what I've heard, but we'll find out because it's still, it has yet to be revealed. So Matt said, I winded them about an English version on social for like 2 months. You're welcome. Thank you, Matt. That's excellent. So maybe that was, they were like, okay, we'll just do a Swedish version because we don't think this is really going to be popular. And then they saw Matt's social media attack and said, okay, we got to do it. Matt has you're the straw that broke the camel's back. Yeah, it's a brutal, that price jump for Apple products is just stupid. They're already expensive, and the yen is really weak. So that may have been part of it too. The weakness of the yen may have pushed the price up because they're paying in dollars, for all those parts. Unknown girl retracted. Is it a drunken innuendo? Alvaro said, I just started Raven's Purge. I think my table will wait a while for another Year Zero. Oh, interesting. Hey, Chris, there we go. Chris is back on the stream. Yeah, that's why I'm sadly anti-Apple. Yeah, if I could stay away from Apple, I would, because they are just trying to suck you into things, because it's so much, at least unlike Amazon devices, at least Google apps and everything are available on Apple products. Amazon, it like completely excludes. I mean, Amazon's flavor of Android will not let you run Google apps on it unless you sideload them. So crazy. Chris is here. I gotta get better captures of our faces for those emojis. Nice. Stealth watching at work. Excellent. Yeah, that's so weird. So technology is just weird. So Chris goes back to the office, can turn on the stream and look at the chair where Chris was just sitting in that chair, and now it's covered by a chat. But I could turn on the JPEG of Chris, and it'll be like in two places at the same time. That's what I should do, is get a little GIF animation, some kind of loop that actually looks like Chris is here, and then when your manager walks by and sees you on the screen, how can you possibly, which one is actual Chris? Okay, I must be getting tired. Well, thank you, Chris, for tolerating all that one D&D stuff at the beginning. Yeah, it's more balanced on the when it's just an empty chair. It's more we feel a longing, an emptiness. So yeah, bringing up the chat helps the screen a little bit. You guys have to do that. You have to. We'll do a tier where it's like force Chris to play test all of the one D&D materials. Nice. Oh my God, Abyss said I just wasted an hour on two PayPal accounts, but my YouTube is coupled with a Swedish account, so I needed to switch to the Netherlands region. That's it's such a nightmare. All of the way that all the websites have their own, because PayPal has its own Japanese version as well, but also they don't like multiple accounts. So I'm very worried about having multiple PayPal accounts, even if they're in different. I don't know. Well, we'll just whatever your annual salary is, Chris. We'll just put that in for the tier. Or I guess your monthly salary. It'd have to be monthly if it's Patreon. Whatever Chris's monthly salary is, that's the tier, and then you will see Chris in that chair full time. Nice. Yeah, that's crazy. Well, thank you, Abyss, for going through all that nightmare. Yeah, we run into that stuff all the time, all the weird incompatible stuff. And the thing that I hate about being in Japan is if I'm dealing with American websites, they have that detection now where they'll switch everything into Japanese, and sometimes that changes forms and the structure of things. So I've got American information, like my U.S. information, I'm trying to edit, and it says, "Oh, your IP is in Japan, so here's the Japanese form," and I can't put my address in correctly and stuff. It's so stupid. It's not that much. We might actually already be making that per month. Of course, it's Japan. It can't be very much. If you're in an office, they've got you. Alvaro said, I would like to actually see someone play test original D&D and Rant. Very cathartic. Or rather, one D&D and Rant. Yeah, that actually might be fun. Is to, I'll take a look. I think it's just on the D&D Beyond. I think they have the downloadable stuff. Let's take a look at 180 is the tier. We're talking centimeters. Take a look at the playtest materials, because it might be fun to kind of tear it apart and say, what are they doing, and why would anybody? I don't think it's going to be major changes, though. They're just trying to make the fans happy or excited about. Chris. Okay. Well, Chris just messaged that she would be down for some some ranting on one D&D. That might be fun. That would be another good reason to do some extra live streaming or some extra recording. Let's Chris, download. You don't have to do it at work, but when you get a chance, download the playtest stuff, and let's both take a look at that and see if it's useful. Yeah, that's right. We could just go through the PDF with our silhouettes at the bottom and say, what are they doing? Yeah, it'd be good to have a good live stream chat too, because there's a lot of things that we might probably miss not being like completely up on what's going on with 5e. Or where they're leaving, what they're trying to do to take 5e to the next level. The anniversary. You're gonna do that on company time. Nice. Oh, that's right. Is that intentional? Oh, Alvaro, that's a really good point. Yeah. So the OD&D, used to be original. Was that intentional that they named it one D&D so that it would overwrite? Just like when they make these reboot movies and they name them exactly the same thing. So that you're like, well, which one is it? The one from the 80s or the one from the 2000s? I wonder if they are intentionally doing that. That would really suck, because that's just proof that they just want all the original players to die and go away. Let them just cater to this new generation who is amazingly fickle. You guys are going to be really screwed. Watsy, you have no idea. I think because they're very spoiled with their loyal, Magic the Gathering player base and stuff. I think they have no idea. Once you're creating, basically a lifestyle kind of social media platform, I think they're going to be really surprised how people are going to walk away. That's a really good point. That would suck if that was intentional. And there's no reason to think that it wasn't, because it's a weird name. It's very weird and very very strange. Oh, D&D. You mean one D&D? Fuck. But you're allowed to just slap anybody like in their 20s that says that, right? Just backhand them. Oh. Yeah. Yeah, Avara says, yeah, Watsy never does anything just because I can smell the greed behind it. Though that's really true. They could that would suck if they like, because they do want to erase their history. They want to delete, Oriental adventures. They want to delete, references to Romani, and, gypsies in different modules and stuff. They want to erase their past. They want to sanitize their past. And what would be better than if you do a search for OD&D to get to get the latest thing? Jeez, I guess it's better than D&D 360. That's a great Microsoft choice. That's the stupidest name for any game console ever. Oh yeah, but Microsoft, yeah, that's right. Xbox One. So yeah, I guess one is the one true race, right? That's what they're going for. Yeah, that's crazy. Matt says, my motto: if a company does something that sounds evil, it's because it's evil. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Accidental. What's that? Yeah, the thing you can incompetence or malice. Yeah. How you can sometimes barely tell the difference. Yeah, I bet you it's going to be D&D Plus until, GW. Oh, I bet, yeah, right. I bet it was, yeah, until it became Warhammer Plus. Yeah, because a lot of pluses, a lot of the platforms are pluses, a Discovery Plus and all that stuff. Yeah. So Legends of the Five Rings just gave them a hand by releasing a new Adventures in Rakugan. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know what they're thinking, and I wonder who are going to be the big losers. I wonder if Roll20 and One Bookshelf and Hero Forge are going to really be screwed by their plans if they're going to do their own thing, their own version of what those platforms are already doing. It will not let you. Oh, sorry about that. That really sucks. Yeah, that's right. Because the Streamlabs is set up with PayPal. Yeah, I guess the only other thing, if you're trying to donate Abyss, the only other thing is just through Google. I think it's your Google, whatever your Google Pay or whatever Google account, through actually YouTube and Google are usually connected. But yeah, sorry about that. It really sucks. But I feel your pain for having to deal with the different regions and being a little bit impaired, chemically impaired. I totally get it. No, don't worry. You can pay PayPal Matt. Matt does need a compensation for all that heavy wrench lifting. Yeah, it's funny. All right. Well, let's see. Yeah, I really hate this. I'm using the Streamlabs version of OBS, and it doesn't have the time of streaming. It doesn't show you like how long you've been streaming. So I have no idea. But it was long enough for Chris to get back to the office and finish some lunch and then get back on. Nice. All right. Yeah, it's crazy. Oh, we did. Yeah, I got an email. I think I mentioned this briefly. I got an email from the CEO, the My Mini Factory, that merger, My Mini Factory and that Games, the UK company that produces miniatures for games and stuff from 3D printing. Some PR rep contacted us about doing an interview about their thing that they're trying to do to integrate 3D printing with games and have people actually be buying physical models instead of STLs. That might be a good conversation now that we're seeing this Cult 3D thing going on. Yeah, and that is an interesting. I wonder if they're going to be able to get away with that, saying fan art, fan art. You know, it's fan art. No one's making any money off of it. If you're going to, give us a cease and desist, we'll take it down. But yeah, let's see. Matt also takes Venmo. Yes, we need to put a Matt with a blue wrench and then Matt's Venmo and PayPal links underneath. Yeah, I've never bought a Hero Forge. I've looked at the interface, and it's improved a lot since the first time I looked at it. It was very basic. It's really gotten quite complicated with the posing and everything. But I haven't seen the quality of the printed miniatures. They're about like $30 a piece, though, aren't they? Similar to maybe not as much as when, I don't know if anybody remembers back in the day when World of Warcraft did that thing where they took your low poly model from the game, and I think this is before they updated the models, the low poly model from the game of your character and printed it as a full color miniature and sent it to you in like a little bell jar, like a little glass domed display. Those are much more expensive. Alvaro's got it figured out. NFTs of cat pictures is definitely where the money is. Yeah, I really wonder about the quality of the Hero Forge stuff. And there's so many deals that need to be made, and Hasbro does not have those connections. Hasbro has connections with cheap plastic manufacturers in China. They do not have, any established long-term connections with people that are doing anything like what they were showing there. It's crazy. 'Cause I don't even think like Seocast or anything could do something on the scale of the miniature that they showed. But that that would be the new types of things. Oh, Abyss, thank you so much. So five memberships for Upturned Table are now available. So anybody watching, VPN, of course, VPN. Yeah, I want to tell you about the weird VPN adventures I've been having. The cookies, like when you're turning it off and on and going to different locations, and the cookies that get made when you're in different places get very bizarre and confusing. Nice. Oh, yeah. Thanks so much, Abyss. You rock. Yeah, much appreciated. Yeah, so anybody that's lurking, anybody that's not in the chat but that's watching the live stream or that is watching watching this live stream on demand, there are memberships available that will give you access to everything that is going on with the members, which is very similar to what Patreon has, except we can't upload like PDFs and stuff. Is the only thing that you can't get. Yay, Chris can become a member of the live stream that Chris is part of. That's right. There's no comp memberships. Oh yeah, I gotta figure that out though. There is partnering in YouTube accounts. We got to figure that out, Chris. If you've got a YouTube account, we should get us both connected to Upturned Table, because they changed that. For a while it was so rough to have multiple people use the same YouTube account because of the security. They'd be messaging your phone all the time to get authentication. Crazy. Wow. So we'll have to see, and I'll try not to torture Chris too much with all of this one D&D nonsense. But if there's something that comes up, and also, yeah, if we're gonna tear apart the playtest stuff, that might be really fun. And also coming at it from a perspective of playing a lot of other systems, that might actually be useful information for people that are kind of brainwashed into this 5e is the only thing I play. To tell them, yeah, why are they doing this? You can't do this in this system. You could do this, or in this setting, you can have that, and it's not being, kind of wedged in there. It's not going to be being forced in a system that it doesn't really work. Chris said, I honestly wonder how much butt kissing we have to do for Watson to start sending us review materials. I wonder. Though they would definitely, we could definitely get Japanese materials because they're probably super hungry to get stuff out in Japan. I can reach out. I can. I don't think we've ever said anything nice. Maybe I have a little bit more, but I don't know on the weekly if we've said anything very nice about 5e. We've had some a really fun the pirate thing that other Chris ran for a while was a fun 5e. That was all homebrew though. But yeah, it's probably worth reaching out because if we say we're based in Japan, they're like, "Oh, Japan, yeah, we need as much promotion in Japan as possible." But I'm sure we could get all the review materials in Japanese because I'm sure there's nobody covering that on Japanese streaming. Yeah, you're gonna need a plane ticket, a plane ticket, and some bubblegum lip gloss to get that amount of butt kissing to work, Chris. Nice, excellent. So now Abyss is super chatting because the PayPal thing got worked out. So I'm paying to bypass Matt's 1984 moderation. Listen here, Matt. Matt is your big brother, the big brother way that you wield that wrench. Reaching out to Watsy, you sure you can deal with that rejection? Yeah, right. They wouldn't even read my email. It just bounced. I had my IP address blocked. Big Matt is watching. Definitely. I get to see crossed wrenches and eyes peering over them. Man, 200 Swedish crowns. That's awesome. Thank you, Abyss. Oh, did I tell you that story? I think I told that story on the cartoon thing. But speaking of Swedish crowns, so I was homestay my last year of high school in Sweden. When I came back, I had a bunch of Swedish crowns. I was like, stupidly, I didn't spend them at the airport. I had a bunch of Swedish crowns, and I just took them to the currency exchange window at the airport in Chicago or wherever I came back through. The woman thought they were just glance at them and said, "Oh, that's Canadian money." And I got the exchange rate for Canadian money in the late 80s, which is pretty almost 1-to-1 for Swedish crowns. So I get a huge bonus for my my time as a exchange student in Sweden. Oh, nice. Yes, Matt is a saint. Matt is a godsend. Yeah, it's so nice to have met Matt through doing the live streams and everything. Ah, interesting. Nice. Yeah. I was wondering because I'm just looking in the. I'm just on the YouTube chat, which is probably pissing people off if they're on Twitch or whatever, trying to participate. But this the Restream shared chat is just so bad. I guess it worked okay though this week for YouTube. I had a friend that was hitting me up on YouTube. The funny thing though about chatting on the live stream on YouTube is it's a comment. It puts comments under the video, so the you're not commenting on the video. You're actually sending chat messages, but it reads as chat. Yeah, I have no idea what Restream is doing. Yeah, we multi-stream on Facebook, Twitch, I believe Twitter. If there's a Twitter, it's live streaming on Twitter. Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, and Twitter are the 4 destinations right now. Nice. Oh, actually, that is maybe working a little bit better. This chat is so weird. Matt's transcribing all the messages. Something F-bomb, something F-bomb. Nice. Yes. So everybody that's watching this on another platform, come over to the active chat on YouTube. Regardless of what you think of the platform, it's a much more dynamic environment. Oh, that's so funny. Yeah, so, wow. This has been a good, nice long stream. Yeah, sorry it started out so bombastic and you guys couldn't figure out what the hell we were. We were just like chanting one D&D things like we joined a cult. The new generation of tabletop roleplay is here. Yeah, at least they've the writing for that video, the promotion video that they did, is a little bit more naturalistic. It's got a lot of corporate jargon in it, but at least it doesn't, sound so much like an infomercial. That's the that would be brutal to have to sit through that. You have to sign into D&D Beyond to get the play. Of course, they want your email and IP address and everything. Well, I'll download it and send you, Chris, if you don't want to do that at work. Have a cookie at work on D&D Beyond. Nice. Oh, sure. Question. Yeah, Abyss has a question. Go for it. Do you fear that the idea of role-playing tabletop that you love becomes irrelevant? Oh, yeah. I mean, in the U.S., I could see that happening. Like what I think of and what I love about tabletop roleplay become not what that means to a lot of people, like a majority of people in America. But I really was happy, like talking to Andreas, I was really happy to hear how different it is in Europe and other parts of the world that have a good tabletop community, that probably the way that it originally was will still live on in a lot of other role-play communities. And because I live outside of the U.S., I can kind of adopt anyone's perspective. But no, that's a good question, Abyss. Is that, yeah, it especially with, if they go so heavily into these digital tools and are using them in a way they haven't been used before, it's really going to change. I mean, just putting a whole layer, I don't even know like how much of a layer of augmented reality I want on top of the table. Just sitting with paper and pencils and dice and imagining everything that you're doing is not going to be, it's not going to be able to be replaced. Yeah, so it's going to be very impossible to sales call. It's going to be very impossible to do that. All right. Yeah. So time forgets everything, and new things are healthy, but it is tragic that something so pure or innocent becomes forgotten. Yeah, Abyss, very beautiful. Yeah, no, it's true. And if there isn't effort to preserve these things, and especially if WotC isn't going to preserve the beginnings of the D&D IP, that's very sad, very brutal. But yeah, thanks for the question, Abyss. Yeah, it is something we're going to have to deal with, and something that if we don't pass on like what we think role playing is to a younger generation, at least our kids or some other kids at a local game store, younger players at a local game store, it could be forgotten, and people will just be like, but I thought you had to, didn't you always wear headsets and do this? D20 is this, right? You just, this gesture, that's D20, right? And then advantage is this. Yeah. It's brutal. Oh yeah. Oh, that's very true. Yeah, very true. All right. Oh, Avara says, I always fear that, but I think it's kind of a snobbish fear. RPGs will become what they will, regardless of how we feel. Right. Yeah, not necessarily bad or unpure. I think just not for us. Yeah, and if the medium is to serve the medium, I don't know if the hobby is to survive, it has to change to fit what younger people want to do with it. I think that's true. Just like OSR has tried to distill what was wonderful about original D&D and make new, more streamlined, easier, quicker to play systems with a lot of that, just because we as players, like having families and full-time jobs and stuff, not being university students or high school students, our demands of tabletop roleplay changed a lot too. Yeah. That's a very it's a very good point, and kind of like letting it go. It's just like, yeah, it's yours now. Do with it what you want. Hopefully, I'll be dust before I see how badly you screw things up. This is the RPG equivalent of Tinder. Some people still go and get dates the old-fashioned way. Yeah, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, yeah, that's. Oh, that'll be brutal. Yeah, they should just have for finding a group. You just start swiping left and right to find your RPG group. It can all be just based on appearance and race, anyhow, just like Tinder. Yeah. Yeah, we will be the weird old people playing RPGs in the park. Yeah, on those stone chess boards they have in Central Park. We'll just be setting up our our miniatures and graph paper. Oh, nice. Oh, we got things like Mothership 1.0. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. That's coming up. Yeah, I'd love to do something themed, like Dead Space, like a Dead Space themed Mothership. That'd be really fun. Have everybody be miners. Miners as not miners, not miners, miners. Everybody playing on a mining colony or a mining ship, I think would be fun. Not miners. No miners in the game, but miners in the game. Yeah, pure theater of the mind. Yes. With headsets. But we can do theater of the mind with virtual dice. Can we do that? Yeah, hopefully. I guess it's going to be kind of confusing as we age out as gamers. It's like, is that just senility or is that theater of the mind? You're staring off into space. Sitting in your little retirement community around a table and everyone's just kind of staring into space. I think they're playing theater of the mind. Or they're just trying to remember their brother's name. Oh, man. Yeah, gonna be nasty, Miguel says. So back in my day, we used pen and paper for playing pen and paper RPGs. Yes, shut up, Grandpa. That's right. In my day, we would use erasable pens too. Yeah, that's right. Theater of the mind is too much work for Gen Z, and they see themselves as the center of everything, so they can't even possibly share that space. The stage is all theirs. You know, there's no spotlight time. It's all theirs. Yeah, it's crazy. Everybody looks like them ethnically, and everybody adores them and is amazed by how competent they are. They're so good at everything, but they're a little awkward. You know, they're a little shy and awkward. Fun chat. Yeah, this is very nice. Take some time. Yeah, I don't have anywhere immediately to be today, so it's perfect. Perfect to just relax in the chat. Oh yeah, Brawl Arcana. Yeah. Chris, pay attention. Abyss is saying we got to do some Brawl Arcana, something like that again. Some Frostgrave or Stargrave or something. Some Forbidden Psalm. Yeah, we should do a stream like that again, and hopefully we don't get hit by some OnlyFans bot or whatever we got attacked by last time. That was funny. The designer of Arcane Brawl was in the chat, and his messages kept getting buried by the bot spam. The what? Oh, Abyss said he'd like to see some more the live stream, the actual play we did. The battle. No, it's not a battle report. It was happening live. The live stream we did of Brawl Arcana. So something like that. Oh, there's some new magicians too. Oh, nice. Get some new miniatures going. Nice. Oh, and yes, pay for you to play Mordheim. I've been dying to make Mordheim terrain, and I have every metal miniature from Mordheim, so you are in trouble, Abyss. That's going to be expensive because we can play any warband all day. Yeah, I got the entire run of Mordheim metal miniatures, so we could be doing that. Yeah, very much. Oh, Chris seconds that. Oh, wow. Yeah, that would be really fun. Yeah. Well, that'll definitely motivate me to. Yeah, that was because that was the first kind of miniatures skirmish game I was playing, and so and the prices were still pretty decent on eBay. So that was like 10 years ago or whatever, when I was first in Japan and first putting stuff together. Yeah, I got a lot of war bands for original wartime. The dwarf treasure hunters and Amazons, everything. Yeah, it's brutal. Guy in Kobe making his own 3D printed more. Oh yeah, and I backed a really good Kickstarter that was STLs of Mordheim style buildings as well, and they're very modular too. So I could probably do like plastic card on some of it, and then use the roofs and some of the walls and stuff for extra detail, so I could get more out of the models by kind of breaking them up. Yeah, I've got a good set of STLs for Mordheim. Oh no. I hope I met down for you to play. All right. So send Matt a plane ticket and an actual blue wrench. Yeah, Mordheim would be fun. Oh, now Chris is interested. Amazons. Yeah, they went pretty wild the last bands that they did, like right at the end, were pretty crazy. Nice. Yeah, Mordheim would be really fun. Yeah, because I've got original rule books, and I know like the community has kind of tried to continue the rule set because there were still some broken things, or kind of overpowered and underpowered stuff from the original rules. But that would be fun. Yeah, I have a lot of the little gazettes from that. Yeah, Mordheim is definitely my original jam, so I would be totally down for that. That would be really fun. Yeah, great. Yeah, so I'll go through it. Maybe I should do a live stream because I've never showed off those miniatures. So maybe I should do a live stream. Go through all those little guys. Yeah, the dwarf treasure hunter. So I bought. They're all eBay purchases, and the dwarf treasure hunters, they weren't in the original box, but the seller, laid them out on cardboard with like plastic sheet over them, and then put this intricately stapled around each of the miniatures, so they're in their own little like kind of blister pack on this like this sheet of cardboard. It was amazing. I was like, that was so much work, but maybe that was the original storage method that they perfected. Oh yeah, recite. Yeah, right. Yeah, so I'll take a look because I know there is a new like a kind of fan made or kind of a update to some of the rules. I'll look that up. I think I might even have the latest PDF version of that. But yeah, let's think about that, and I'll start to. That's already nostalgic. It's not even 10 years ago, but yeah, that's very nostalgic, and that would be so much nicer than. Because that's the thing that they probably will never bring back, because they have. They have Warcry and they have the Hex one, all the Age of Sigmar stuff. So there isn't really a reason to go back and relaunch Mordheim. I'm clicking show on that F-bomb, Chris. There's so many skirmish games we need to play. Yeah, we need to just do a skirmish game a night. I think it needs to be. We need to daily change our rule set for skirmishes. Underworlds. Thank you, Miguel. Yeah, so I think that was their like kind of half-ass intended, to the setting and whatever to take the place of Mordheim, but not even close, especially if it's hex based. Yeah, nice. Oh man, yeah. Well, that's good. That's a good suggestion. That's exactly what I'd love to do, is go back into some Mordheim. Let's do that. Some vampires and Sisters of Sigmar, and we got lots of lots of stuff. Nice. All right. Oh, cool. The Warcry new basic rules are free online. Oh, that's cool. Oh, before you go, because I missed the episode, is there anything that you actually like from 1E to 2E? Oh, with the new Essentials kit. For the 5E Essentials, 1E Essentials. The new one that they're releasing. I'm not sure. I don't think I know enough about the the new edition of the stuff that they're doing. All I saw with the starter kit, I guess it's a Target exclusive in the U.S., so it's not out in main retail yet. But the next box set, the next starter set, it looks like there's very little in it, and it all is trying to lead you to D&D Beyond, and it's all digital. It's like a very, very streamlined and thinned down, and it's also for complete beginners, so it may not be very fun for anybody with any D&D experience to even touch. The new starter set looks pretty goofy. I really liked this Essentials. The combination of that first starter set and the Essentials kit is good because the adventure is good, the Minds of Fendelver is good in the starter set, and being able to do your own characters in the Essentials is good. Frostgrave on Hexes, that's right. Yeah. What to see. Nice. Yeah, so I'm not sure. I don't know too much about the box sets, and I'm not sure. I don't know what they're going to be doing. It's going to get really dodgy. The physical stuff that they're going to be producing, I bet, is going to get less and less, and they're just going to, everything is going to be like, you'll get to a certain point in the book, and it'll just be a QR code, and like go to the, go to our digital version for our, for the rest of the rules. Yeah, the previous starter wasn't super beginner friendly. You definitely had to know, the game. I think it was, because it was 5e and the starter, and that starter set came out before any of the books or any of the core books or anything were out. It was definitely for people that are coming from 4e or Pathfinder to try this new version. So it wasn't beginner friendly. And the reviews that I've seen of the new starter set, they say it's super beginner friendly because they spell everything out and they're writing it out in sentences. It's not like stat lines. It's like, this means you add this to this and you roll a d20 and do this. And so it really walks you through what you would have to do. But it sounds like the adventure is not great. I think the Minds of Phandelver are better. Is a better starting adventure. But people complained too that was a little deadly. It's got a goblin attack that could kill player characters at the beginning of in the first encounter and stuff. But Matt should have been about an hour ago. I'm keeping Matt up. If we lose our wrench, we're doomed. Oh yeah. That Call of Cthulhu starter is really great. And then they put some great starting adventures in there, and it's cool they do a solo thing. Nice. Yeah, and I've got. What do I have? I have the Starfinder. I don't have the Pathfinder starter, but I do have the Pathfinder, but I have Starfinder, which is good. And it's very complete. It's got a lot in it. It weighs a ton because they give you so much. They give you the pawns and maps and everything. All right. Well, let's wrap it up for Matt's sake before he takes that wrench and brings the whole thing down. Sorry, Matt. You got to rest up to get killed. You got to get killed tomorrow night. All right. So everybody take care. And anybody that's been lurking, there's free memberships thanks to Abyss. So grab one of those to see what's in our YouTube member area or member, whatever it is, channel section. And we'll do this again next week. So upturntable.com and on all social media and patreon.com/upturntable to become a weekling, which I forgot to plug during the main cast. So take care, and I'll see everybody next week. Yeah, good to see you, Chris, back in the chat. Thanks for hanging out, everyone. That was really fun. It was fun, too. I finally caught up with the chat. So I start at the beginning and read through it, and you guys are, waiting 10 minutes before I get to any current comments. But nice. Chris for life. Excellent. All right. So good night, and take care. And thanks, everyone. K5, Unknown Girl. It was great to see you guys in the chat. Abyss, Alvaro, Miguel, and, of course, Matt. Great to have you guys. So see you next week. Chris and I will be back. Hopefully. At least we'll be in the chat. I don't know who's going to be here, but we'll be in the chat. All right. Take care. See you next time. Bye-bye.